Mhm. Oh wait, we're live. Oh smack, ladies and gentlemen, I am live in the place. Let me see if I can find us on YouTube real quick. Let me turn my ring off. We have uh the Honorable Balaguno Jatade remote operating our system right now. Let me get everybody on up in here. All right, and here we go. I got us. There we go. Live in this place. Let's see who we got. All right, CBC vote of peace. Good to see everybody. It's been feel like it's been a minute. Skipped I think it was a week. Feel like we had a little bit of time off, but glad everybody is doing okay, and we will be with you shortly. We're gonna bring Bob will be with us shortly. The whirlwind of death will be with us shortly. We as always, we have slight technical difficulties getting this thing started, but we are here. So we may do a little mix up today, maybe a mashup. I'm not sure if we're going to do the over 40, which really is over 50. We just didn't want to scare you up like that, or we may go with what was the original title? I think it was striking first. We may talk about that. We may mix it up and talk about it all. But one thing I do want to talk about, peace, alias fresh. Okay, I see y'all. We gotta let the folks know, since we weren't here last week, you know what I'm saying? We gotta let the folks know that we okay, I see y'all starting to come up in her. Okay. So something I wanted to talk about real quick. And this is a touchy subject. But I'm going to touch an aspect of it that many probably definitely few people can really speak on with first person knowledge. So talk about Democrats and the Republicans. You don't never ever hear me talk bipartisan politics. It's not my thing. And I don't publicly voice my views on any of that. I care nothing for the top, for the McClellan piece, TWOFs. Peace. So yeah, everybody crooks at the top, and they're all puppets and stuff like that. So I don't really get involved. I get involved with local politics. So one thing I thought was interesting, we've heard Donald Trump mention actors. He has a phrase for it. It's not crisis actors. It's central casting, right? He says that a lot. Central casting. I don't know if I've never heard the Democrats use that term or explain or talk about what that means or debate it or whatever. And maybe because I don't follow, political pundits as they talk all that crap. But I've never heard them say it. I've always heard Donald Trump talk about it. And it's interesting because I don't really pay attention to too much stuff, but I am into acting. That's what I do act, for those of you who do not know. So I know who central casting is. I've never used them personally to get casted in anything, but I was going. The funny thing is, I was headed to Central Casting to get registered with them. And when I was about to get off the exit on 75, it was a heavy traffic like always. And it was standstill traffic right on the interstate. And I was stopped in traffic, and a Sprinter van hit me in the back. And I ended up out of commission for months. And so I never went to Central Casting and never connected with them. But it was interesting when I heard Donald Trump mention Central Casting. I was like, I know what he's talking about, but what's the connection? You may have seen me in a commercial once, but so anyway, I hear him talking about Central Casting. I'm like, oh, he's trying to say everybody's acting and it's a bunch of actors and stage things, which it's been proven there are crisis actors that are being placed in situations to push an agenda. I have it's one I wasn't planning on talking about this really in depth, so I don't have this one particular Caucasian woman has been spotted and identified as a crisis actor. I think I may have posted recently. I don't know if I had her real name, but it showed her in several different places, on different topics and different as different people. So we know, most of us that are astute, we know that exists. Is that either which side is it on? I don't know, but we know that exists. But the reason I'm talking about this is because personally, myself, I have witnessed what could be called a staged event. I was a part of what could be called, peace, Bob, a staged event. So, what do I mean? So, contractually, I'm not sure how much I can say, honestly. But I think this is so important that I'm going to walk the greatest line ever to communicate what I want to communicate. So, there was an event that was came on TV. I believe it was the Tuesday before the election, on a popular 3-letter station that only Black folks basically watch. Some people would say it is even a Black network, even though it's not owned by Black folks. So when this event came on TV, I remembered it because I was there. And the funny thing about that event is I was hired to be there. And when I was hired, and I have the emails, I talked to Bob about this, so you know what I'm talking about. I kept the email. So basically I was casted for a job. The job was for 6 hours, paid a couple $100, wasn't big, but simple, sitting down, being a part of a, town hall setting type of thing. And so I was like, okay, cool. And then it was saying, there'll be topics about it's for black men issues and topics will be discussed. And so of course I'm with that. So I want to be a part of that. So I'm going. So I sign up for it. I go, I get there. Long line of us. It's at a studio. So it's a regular job. So I'm at the studio. We signing in, and I hear the casting people saying, they're talking to the studio. They're saying, we only have 64 out of maybe 100 and something that we're supposed to have. And so they say, okay, we're going to go with it. So anyway, we end up, we in this studio. They put us in a room. It's real janky the way it looks. I'm used to how studios flow and how they handle, us and things like that. So it was kind of janky a little bit. And I didn't really appreciate how they were moving, coordinating things. They really wasn't together. But anyway, started sitting people in this little circle-like studio or whatever, circular studio. So they got the seats are in a circle basically. And then in the middle of the circle would be the people who are doing the interviews, or the 3 people that are talking about the certain topics. Again, you should know what I'm talking about if you saw this, but if you didn't, you still will understand what I'm getting at. So they place us in there, and I'm sitting beside, famous people. You have recording artists, you have business moguls, you have a comedian, which is actually doing a hosting, a popular comedian that is definitely on one side of the spectrum when it comes to partisanship. So I'm looking at, I'm like, okay, but he's still, he for the people, supposedly, I guess. So I'm like, okay, it's gonna be something good. Seeing famous people from Atlanta, I'm rubbing elbows with a guy who actually, it's a the voting, it's a voting quote, so to speak, that's been copywritten or whatever, and is on a lot of T-shirts. So I met the owner. He was sitting right beside me, so he's talking. We having a good conversation. So anyway, the show starts, and the first thing the guy says is, he says, "Hey, there's been a lot of talk about black men not standing up for this particular candidate, and we here to show you that black men are here standing up for this candidate right now." And then, of course, everybody's supposed to clap at that time, so everybody claps. And that's when my eyes are like, what am I being a part of? So immediately I'm looking, I start thinking back in the email. Did it say anything about endorsing a candidate? Did it say anything? It didn't say anything about any political agenda. And the crazy thing about that is, if it would have said something, 99.9% of the black dudes that end up in that room would have still went. Because first of all, we're actors. It's a job. So you can say whatever, as long as we ain't naked or whatever, you know what I'm saying? We're going to be there. We're actors. You could have told the truth. But the whole fact that we get there and it's all deception. Scam lightly. Exactly. I get there and it's scam lightly. So I know how these people think. They never expect you to stand up for yourself. They never expect for you to, they believe that you're going to want to be around famous people enough to sacrifice things. Sometimes it's paid. They'll tell you, hey, look, you ain't going to get no real money for this right here, but you'll get to be beside blah, blah, blah. I'm never, no. So anyway, I wait to the commercial. And I say, excuse me, somebody's going to have to take my seat, because I didn't sign up for this. And I feel like I was misled by, and I don't feel comfortable being here under these circumstances. And she looked at me like, are you serious? Like, you sitting beside, you want to get up? The producers tell me this. You want to give up your seat? It's a bunch of people. Yeah. I don't like being played with like that. So I get up, they give me some nice paraphernalia to take with me, to show, my support and everything. I didn't say who the people was. I'm just saying I can show the gifts that they gave me. And I gave up my seat to some dude that was sitting back there, and that was the end of it. But being a part of that blew my mind, because until that time, if you would have told me they did that, I'd be like, no, that's not possible. I got an email for a plane ticket to the Democratic convention. I can say that because it was just an email. I didn't confirm. I didn't commit to it. But it was like, hey, we give you a free ticket. We want you to come be in the audience and blah, 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 blah. And it came the same way that the other thing came. I would have been an actor being paid and flown out for the numbers. And I just think that's deceptive and ridiculous. And I don't think you have to do that to get the numbers and the people that you want. So I just wanted to say that I just wanted to tell y'all, that happened. That's real. I have the evidence, the proof from the emails and all the statements. And it's really crazy out there. It's just nothing is what it seems. And I'll leave y'all with that as far as that story. Nothing is out here what it seems. And I just hate to see family members, friends, people, and it's being promoted in the media. The media is telling you, don't talk to people who disagree, who don't have the same politics as you. I tell them you don't want to do blah, blah, blah. But I agree with that to a certain extent. When we're talking about starving the system, I only spend my money with certain people anyway. So we should always be like that. But when we talk about this bipartisan, when we talking about this ain't our ish. This is their ish. When we talking about defending billionaires and millionaires and actually, drawing lines in the sand with people we've known our whole lives, or people we're friends with, people we do business with, while they continue to be friends and do business with each other and go to dinner, and you see the relationship Bush and Obama wife, I don't know what's going on with that. They hugging and kissing all the time, while meanwhile we cussing and fighting and getting kicked out. I've seen stories of parents kicking their children. I've seen stories of siblings splitting, fighting. I've seen stories of people killing. Of course, they had issues anyway. They just needed something was wrong with them anyway. But I mean, but it's just really crazy because that's not what's happening. The divide is not real at the top. So that's all. I just it's just really sad to see us in that situation. Peace to Darian. Yeah. I'm just talking about my little experience I had, Bobby.
Yeah, I heard it. Peace, everybody. I had to going between upstairs and downstairs to.
I explained you was remote. You was remote producing remotely for a second.
Yeah, it's crazy with the email. So there's an email link to this, and I have the code, the passcode, the email and the password. But then to make sure I'm not a hacker, it also said Jared had to say yes, and then I have to hit a number on this pad. So I didn't contact Jared. It's just ridiculous. So I wasn't going through that. So it's ridiculous getting on there through this. My computer has the email password saved in it, so it automatically goes to it. But my computer upstairs, that's my main computer, and it does not have video on it. And I did that on purpose. So
right, that's how mine is.
I keep audio. I have to put in speakers, but it doesn't have video, so I can't do the thing upstairs.
Yes, TWOFs. The people take the L in that scenario, and it is sad.
Two Fs. That's Franny.
Oh, that is?
Yeah.
Well, that's what that is. 2 Fs. I was not even. That's cool. 2 Fs. I hear you. The one from BK. There's no division at the top is so real. I'm trying to tell you, man. And peace to the chat. I don't recognize some of the new folks in N2B. 1986. Peace. What's happening? And Emmanuel Briggs, I think I already shouted you out. But yeah. Well, I guess this the security got to be tight. We want to make sure nobody ain't hijacking our feed. You know what I'm saying? We just had a workshop. Wish you guys could have been there. It was a nice workshop. We will be having another workshop shortly. We'll be announcing it, and we hope that you guys can make it out. If we may, since we're getting some new equipment, some new technical things we're trying to implement, so we may be able to broadcast the next workshop. So We're gonna. I'm not gonna make no announcement. I know about y'all should be tired of us making announcements because we take so long to do stuff, and I take all the weight because we got a lot going on out here. So it's coming. It's down the pipe. We moving slow. Again, it's sad that Bob is the most technically savvy amongst us because he's also the busiest and the oldest all us. It's really sad. I need to get on behind the. I need to get on it and get the grind on. So,
speaking of old man, yesterday Mike Tyson
we got to talk about it.
Fought Jake Paul. I feel Tyson did a good job for a 58-year-old man against a 27-year-old man. See, people were thinking Tyson is like the lion from the 80s, 90s. No.
They wanted Iron Mike.
Right. He's not Iron Mike. He's more like, Tin Mike or Silver Mike. He can't do what he did then, regardless of how in shape you get and all of that. There are still 58-year-old things happening to him. Time, you can't stop that.
Sure made me look at myself, boy.
One thing that has defeated everything, including if you believe in a God. Time. So he, he's 58, a 58-year-old boxer, so he's taking damage to his body.
Since he's been 11 years old.
Right.
Because remember, they believe in heavy sparring.
He's done drugs.
A lot of cocaine.
Can't. I mean, that all takes its toll on
He did the best drugs, though, so it's kind of balanced it out.
Shit. So he did the best a 58-year-old man would do now. And I expected him to, the first round and second round, I expected him to do better than Jake Paul.
Of course.
Because he's a better boxer.
Mm-hmm.
So he was winning against Jake Paul in the first two rounds. And then after that, Jake just tore him apart, picked him apart, but didn't. So people, they're not realizing, okay, he never knocked Mike down.
Right.
He didn't really hurt Mike. And he was trying to damn what anybody says. He was trying to hurt Mike.
He said but he was scared.
He was trying to knock Mike out. Yeah, because you try to, whenever you try to knock a person out, you're exposed.
You're vulnerable.
To getting knocked out.
You're vulnerable.
So he was scared of that. But
people who want to say it's fixed and all that, it's not. That was him, Mike Tyson, giving you everything he had.
Right. Exactly. And
I tell you,
I knew. Not only did I know how the fight was going to turn out, period, as far as Mike's performance, I knew he was going to lose it, though, because I looked at his eyes as he was marching to the ring.
Me and Quest talked about he was scared.
Yeah, he was scared. And of course, he should be. He's 58.
Right. He talked about his fear, but you could see his fear on his face that time. Then once he got in the ring, he got a little bit more comfortable. But I want to say this, Bob. This was great. This fight was great for us because we need a reality check. And I don't know if people realize that's what they got. We have this delusion about combat, about the physical body. We have a delusion about, and it's so deep. I don't want to lose what I'm trying to say because I want to go somewhere real quick. But that was good for us because what we were thinking, we was about to see this right here and all that. When he sat down after the first round, I had somebody here that can attest to that I said this. As soon as he sat down, Bobby, I swear on this, on everything I love. First round, he looked good, didn't he? Yeah. When he sat down, I said, oh, no. And Chris said, what? I'm looking at his chest and how he was breathing. I said, oh, my God. Chris said, what are you talking about? I said, it's over. It's over. I said, he ain't got no legs no more. He breathing hard now. He ain't got no legs. He went out the second round, and when he got jabbed, they was talking about his legs. I seen it.
Roy Jones was talking about his legs. Yeah.
Exactly. So, exactly. Look, this is what I want to tell y'all, man. We can't be delusional, but you wrestled in high school. You went through basic training. It's the same exact thing. And it's even within our group. It's in our group. And that's what I wanted to get to, because your son said something that is so deep, because everybody that trains with us feels like this after they train for a while. And I wanted to put it in our chat so you could talk about it. I'm going to say it loud here because he brought a good, he said, I feel like it's ingrained in me. You know what I'm saying? And I understood exactly what he meant by that, because I feel like it's ingrained in me too now. It ain't. It ain't ingrained in you. It ain't going to stay with you unless you stay with it. And right after he said that, he did something that if it was ingrained in him, he wouldn't have did. And that's why I messed with him about it real quick. But the principles are ingrained in you. Just like Mike Tyson he know his body ain't doing it. The principles are ingrained in you, but if you don't train it, the technique won't show the principles. But you'll know them. You'll know what you're supposed to do, but it ain't going to come out in the technique. And Baba put this beautifully. If you ain't even trained to run from something, you ain't going to run from it. And it's proof, because we see people, when somebody pull out a gun, when somebody pull out a knife, when somebody start getting beat up, right beside them, everybody like this. We see people on train get stabbed and killed and raped, and people like this. If you ain't trained to run, you ain't even going to run. That's what when I saw that fight, that's all I could think about was the delusion that we are under, and it goes all the way up to the person on the thinking that because they black, they're going to beat a white dude, all the way to the person who's been training martial arts and stop for a year and say, I got it because I've been training 10 years. I can stop training. It's going to come out. It don't work like that. 50 years like Baba, okay, you stop training for 5 years. I mean, it's ingrained in you. But even then, he can lose it if he stopped for too long. It ain't going to look like me when I stopped for a year. He stopped for 10 years. It ain't going to even be as worse as me probably stopping for a year. But it'll be some drop off. And it could be life and death. Yeah. The drop off could be life and death. If Tyson and Jake Paul was on the street, Tyson would have probably killed him. Because the fight it ain't no rules. The fight don't last.
It don't last that long, yeah.
Yeah. People thought Tyson was crazy. He biting the glove. I'm trying to tell Quest he been doing it, but the only thing is he used to keep his hands like this, so you never seen it. Yeah. But he had them big old gloves, so it's down here. You like, he look crazy. But that's all, man. That's all I want y'all to take from that, man. If anything is ain't nothing ingrained in you that you ain't training, unless you've been doing it so long that if you do it in your sleep, like Baba could be sleep, you punch out him, he probably gonna brush. If you ain't there like that, whatever you're doing, you can't afford to stop for a week, for a month. This is our life, man. We really are delusional as a people. I don't know any other way to put that. And maybe everybody delusional. I don't care about everybody else. I'm sorry, that came out wrong. I'm more concerned about us than everybody else. That's the truth.
I'm hoping the next person to fight Jake Paul, but it ain't gonna happen. Jake Paul's not a fool. I'm hoping it would be Francis Ngannou.
Oh no.
But he's not gonna do
it.
That's a fighter in his prime.
No. He'll be smarter if he take Deontay Wilder. Because Deontay Wilder want to fight Ngannou because he know that'll be the last thing he ever do, and he gonna get a big check because it's about knockouts. But if you fight Jake Paul, but Jake ain't ready for that. He ain't ready for that. But I hope he think he is.
Not Deontay Wilder. He wants to fight Canelo. I don't think he's ready for that either. but hey.
I wish Canelo would do it. I don't like Canelo personally. As a boxer, he's good though. I want to know.
Yeah, he's good as a boxer. I don't know him as a person, but
I mean, not as a person. I don't like his disposition that I see. But as a boxer, it's like Mayweather. I don't like his disposition. I can't say I know Mayweather, but I don't like everything off camera. You know what I'm saying? But I can't say I don't like. You're right. I can't say I can like. Peace, 40J Blaze. You saw the fear too, Enrico? So you saw the fear. Too many of us have been taught to push through fear. How do we navigate that with our actual physical condition?
Okay, great. Right. That's good. So if you have, say, you're in a wheelchair, or you have a heart condition, brain condition, you had strokes, you had heart attacks. How do you navigate through the fear? Through training. I had strokes and I had heart attacks.
And if you don't know, he had one live on the air.
I had
right?
a stroke live on air, yeah. And came back. Well, finished the show and came back the next week. So one, I mean, I've grown up with a certain mindset. So for me, I mean, I came out of the hospital when I had 7 strokes at one time. I had the strokes, was in the hospital. I came out of the hospital 4 days later. 4 days after that, I was back teaching. Martial arts, I'm talking about, back teaching, not like in school. So it depends on the character of the person, but years of proper training, not just training anything.
That's the
Years of proper training where it also is not just physical, but it's training your mindset, the warrior's mindset. That is key to overcoming the fear when it's dealing with your actual physical condition.
Yes.
Now, you say, but fear's gonna be there. You just overcome it.
You should push through it.
Because Mike was afraid as he's walking up to that ring. All kinds of thoughts going through his head.
Right. I have a heart attack right now.
You can see them. He's like, man, my legs might completely fail me in.
Right.
I could have a heart attack. I could he might knock me out and I suffer brain damage. All kinds of stuff could be going through his head right then.
Yes.
Because he's older and all that could have happened. Right.
Real quick, another boxer said every time he walked to the ring, when he passed that EMF, he say, man, this could go left. Every time he passed that EMF, he used to say this could go left. For any one of us. But go ahead, Bob.
Right. And so, when he got in the ring and took off his top, now you see his eyes change to the warrior eyes.
Yep.
So he had overcame it, but he had that fear all the way as he walked to the ring.
As he trained for this.
And that's normal. That's normal. If what I do and what I was taught to do, and I do it, is I teach students to do it too. Anything you're afraid of, you go to it.
Right.
Because the longer you sit back there and you look at this person, oh, he's 6'7", 250, he gonna beat my ass. Oh my God, he gonna hurt me. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna get beat. Man, you start scaring yourself. That's called worry. And that we don't want to do. We want to be warriors, not worriers, right?
Yeah, bro.
And so you step to him. The one thing with fear, and it's really worry, because fear is a natural signal that we all have.
Right. Saying fearless is ridiculous.
Great bodily harm or impending death. So you're worried. You're standing here, and that you're on a mountain, and there's a cliff, and you're scared to get close to the cliff. Walk to the cliff. You won't be scared no more once you get there. You're at the cliff. You're not going to be scared. Now you're scared of falling. Then if you fall off, you're not scared of falling no more. Now you're scared of hitting the ground.
Yeah, bro.
And if you hit the ground, well, fear is over. So
I was scared.
So a person is that cliff, right? I'm scared of this person. I step to that person. I'm no longer scared now. I'm scared, us fighting now, what he might do. Then when I get into that fight, I'm no longer scared of the fight. In fact, I'm just flowing now. I'm really not thinking of nothing when I'm in it, right?
What?
But when you're distant from it, you're thinking. So me personally, I go to things I'm afraid of, or I get the fuck away from them completely. And right. That's not fear, that's strategic.
Training, man, real training the right way is actually, and you can look this up, it's similar to dancing. And dancing has been proven to reverse dis-ease in the mind, different things in the brain, coordination skills. There's been people with I can't name the particular ailments that dancing and self-defense are connected to because of the rhythmic movements and things, especially even African martial arts, because we are a lot more rhythmic than other martial arts. And so it has healing factors in that itself too. So through training, like Barbara said, one thing I wanted to address too, the guys M2B said it was a lame ass stage Pixie act. It was definitely kind of lame for different reasons, but it was definitely not staged. And you could tell that if you in the art, if you done some self-defense, you done any boxing, you guys the boxers after the match, you could tell Mike Tyson was not at it. He had his knee was also injured, which is why he wasn't moving as much. But his legs was gone after the first, second round anyway. And if you don't know that, if you've never had to spar with your legs gone, you don't know how that looks. See, and you don't realize if you don't do that, you don't realize where power comes from. Power, only Francis Ngannou is only heavyweight that if he hit you with like this, he gonna knock you across the ring. Everybody else need their legs. He's just so strong, it's just ridiculous. Tyson needed his legs. He couldn't plant. If your knees bother you, you can plant.
If Ngannou would strike properly, he would be devastating.
Oh my goodness! If he knew how to punch for real, he'd be tearing people. So yeah, I don't think it was staged at all. I think we saw a 50-year-old man who has been taking blows and punishment and abuse since before being a teenager. And you got it, like I said, he comes from a spar heavy regiment. That's what they believed in for his first 15 years. He sparred all day long as a kid. That's all they did. It was a bunch of sparring. And so even running on concrete for years, it tears your knees, it tears you up, man. So you don't all that accumulative stuff. He's still one of the most preserved heavyweights that we even have ever. If you listen to the way he talks and thinks, him and Lennox Lewis, everybody else sounds, pretty messed up. So it was a lot going on in there to be able to do what he did. It was a victory for him. I understand what he meant, how he felt afterwards. That's a young boy, that's got the best trainers he can buy. Even a professional boxer say at this point, Jake Paul is an average professional heavyweight boxer. That's a compliment. He's average.
And I want to make it clear too, the statement that his brother said to Mike when he said, maybe I'll box your brother next. Now that was some stage bullshit when he says, I'll kill you, Mike. He knows goddamn well.
Oh yeah. He's just talking.
He's less of a boxer than his brother, than Jake.
Right. He's a wrestler.
That's bullshit. Now, what was lame was Jake Paul's entry in a damn low rider truck. That was bullshit. Oh,
but you know what though? As lame as it was, he got paid for that. He got paid for that. He's smart. He's smart. He's lame, but he's smart.
Of course.
You gotta think about that. I appreciate the chat, man. Y'all
very high clip. I fell off a very high cliff in the forest. It was so weird. When I hit the ground, it was more like a roll, but I landed right upright. It was like feet, knees, hands. I got up and walked away. Wow.
Man.
Good.
That must have been. It was meant for you to see another day.
Right. All right. So we're going to get into this strike first, strike fast, strike hard. It's funny, with the Paul Tyson fight. Strike first. That's necessary. Okay. Can you strike first, though? The law says, in most states, the law says if you feel you're in danger, great bodily harm, or death, then you can strike first. Okay. Most martial arts don't teach you to strike first. They say he does this, then you do this, then you do that. Hoi, and that's the way it is, right? It is really self-defense. I'm defending myself against you striking me. You may not survive that.
Right.
He may hit so hard or hit so fast himself. You may not survive that. And you're blocking. He punches again, you're blocking. He punches again, you're blocking. He keep you doing that all day. He's attacking you and you're blocking. Then that can go on all day until he hits you.
Also, Bobby, you said legally too, if you feel threatened, you can attack first, right?
Yes. If you feel threatened, you can attack first.
Right. I was just gonna say, I don't think most people know what assault is legally. Well, that's what I wanted to speak to what you're saying.
Assault is verbal.
Right.
Is a verbal intimidation or threat.
Right. Right. So if it's not verbal, it could be me doing like this, walking up to you like this right here. That's assault. People don't know that, and that's why you can attack first legally in cases because I've been assaulted. You walk up to me like this, right? You're assaulting me.
Now
you're assaulting me.
The danger is I can also assault you in a three-piece suit with a smile on my face.
Exactly.
And that's
how recognize it.
That's how they will come. Now, when you go to court, they say, why'd you stab that guy? who had the three-piece suit on and the smile on his face. I said, because he gave pre-incident indicators that he was going to attack me. He bladed his stance, right? He looked around. He rubbed his face. Those are all indicators that he's about to attack.
Right.
Well, I would say that in a court. Well, to be honest, I wouldn't did.
We got you. But
if I, okay, the police showed up. I got to go to court. I'm going to court. I would say that. Then they have to bring in an expert in self-defense who will, or law enforcement probably, who will say he's absolutely right in what he said. Okay. So those pre-incident indicators you can defend yourself too, but your layman does not know those pre-incident indicators.
Right.
When we teach them, you're not going to remember all that shit when you're being attacked. You're not going to remember. But if he, like Belay said, or if he said, I'm going to beat your ass, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to wait for him to beat your ass or try.
Right. Another reason.
Attack him first.
Another reason you don't sell wolf tickets. Another reason you don't be like, what you want to do? What's up, nigga? And then next thing you know, you in the hospital. He attacked me. No, you assaulted me first.
Or you never work out of ego anyway.
He
says, I'm gonna beat your ass, motherfucker. And now I've done it. And you say, well, show me. I've done it. But that's not the wisest thing.
No.
The wisest thing is to take a non-violent position. No. I don't want to fight you. You're actually putting up a defense.
That's me right there. That's me all day.
I don't want to fight you. I don't want to fight you. And then, but I want to fight you. At that point, boom, you can stick him.
That's what I'm about.
But I want to fight you. You're appearing non-violent. So one, it's deception there. Now, but it's also legally, you were heard say, I don't want to fight you. And then I want to fight you. He puts that head forward and you stick him. Boom. Hit him in his throat. Boom. Right. A punch to the, and you trying to push him away. You got him.
Caught him right there by mistake.
Now you trying to push him away, but you got him in his throat. You understand?
Call that a nugget.
Now, if you punch him, boom, right? Boom. You had to punch him again because shit, he didn't like he was going down and he was being aggressive. So boom, boom, right? Now you can't, boom, boom, you drop him, and then you can't just keep on beating his ass down. You can't do that legally. You can't do that legally. You can't do that legally. Okay? So you got to be careful of what you do.
And that's why having more tools in your arsenal is good, because you may not want to punch and punch and punch and punch. You may want to subdue. Right. And now that you can subdue until they're no longer threat. He stopped moving. He finally stopped moving. He was struggling. He was trying to get away.
Or,
be careful.
Boom, he drops down. He looks like he's getting up to you.
Oh.
Stomp him. Boom. Well, whatever happens to him, loses teeth, his head hits the concrete. You're not concerned about that. Now, when the police come, they say, well, what? Why the fuck is he down there? His head split. His head hit the concrete when I punched him. Because he was trying to attack me. Now, we're black. Okay, there's a reality to it. We're black. we get injustice anyway, right? But you can't worry about that when you're being attacked on the street. You can't worry about that. You don't know how you're going to act on the street if after you down him, you run. Because actually, that's the reaction that you should train yourself for, to run away from the danger. So, boom, he goes down. Boom, I stopped him because he was trying to get up again. Boom, I run. I wasn't fleeing the scene. I was running because
from danger.
Right, it's dangerous. It's a dangerous situation. I was getting to safety.
Yeah, he's a threat. I don't know if he's armed. I don't know if he got stuff on. I don't know anything.
Right, and you never do. On the street, you don't know what he got. You don't know, but you do know he's talking aggressively, or she is talking aggressively, and they want to attack you. Now, with men with a woman, if a woman aggresses you, and maybe I'm speaking, well, I am speaking from my bias. Grapple a woman if you can. If a woman's attacking you,
Yeah, well, subdue a woman. I agree with that.
Right, you grapple her and subdue her. Don't grapple her, choke her out and shit like that. But unless you have to, but you grapple her to subdue her, and then now some dudes say, "Well, I'm a little 5'2" man, and she's a 5'11" woman, outweighing about 100 pounds. You're still stronger than her. You're still stronger than her. So stop the bullshit, or stop being a little, I don't know what you call it, but stop being that thing. Man up.
Right.
And subdue her.
Exactly.
Now, all that being said, a woman goes to shoot me. I'm tearing her up. I'm going to shoot her first. Tear her up. A woman goes to stab me. Well, I'm going to defend myself with my knife if I can. If not, I'm going to defend myself with my hands and then my tools if I can get to it. Okay? But if you had to strike first or whatever, grapple a woman. I'm speaking from my opinion, okay? Grapple a woman. I don't believe in beating no woman like a man and all this bullshit that I hear men say. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. I had a student, a woman. She was 5'11", about 300 pounds. There's no way I would have, I hit her in class because that's part of class, but there's no way I would have hit somebody, a woman that size on the street like I do a man. In fact, there was a woman who was hit in MMA and it cracked her skull. There's no dude gonna get hit and it cracks his skull. It's not gonna happen. It may crack the orb of your eye or something, but it broke her skull.
Right.
That's the difference between a man and a woman. A man is denser, he's stronger, and he's faster. So there's no way you should be hitting a woman on the street. If it comes to it, subdue her. That's what I'll say for that. I don't care about, what about the feminine, the feminists and all that who want to be treated equal to a man? Stop the bullshit. You're using that to disguise your
lack of character,
and desire to hurt a woman.
Oh.
Usually men who say that are incels. There are men who can't get no woman.
Or got some type of complex, because I see that a lot. I'm not going to name the complex, but I see it.
Right. Got it. Right. Got some kind of complex about women.
Mm-hmm. Or they self, which ends up being about
women, but it's still based on women. They have a complex.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
About yourself anyway.
Right.
But they aim it towards women.
Right.
Women are a part of this. Women did me this way. Women did me like that.
Right. Women are like all women are like
right. Those dudes, most of those dudes can't get no woman. No woman wants them in the first place. And then they talk about I'll fight a woman like a man. Bullshit. That is bullshit. Now, so to subdue, if a woman is aggressing you, yeah, I'm gonna fuck you up. I've never seen that, to be honest, myself, but I know it exists. I've never seen that with a woman, I'm gonna fuck you up to a man.
Women and shit.
But I've seen it. I mean, I've heard about it. I know it exists. You boom, subdue her. Subdue her. If a man is doing that to you, whether it's a man or a woman, you're a man or a woman, and a man is attacking you or aggressing you, and you feel in danger, you can strike him first. And you should.
Definitely should.
You should.
With the tools you get.
Some type of equalizer.
You can palm sandwiches, which is for us. So a palm sandwich for us is your hand comes forward and down. It comes forward and down. Comes forward into his face and down. Forward into his face and down. We don't aim those strikes at the eyes. Why don't we aim strikes at the eyes? Because
you can't train strikes to the eyes.
Right. You can't train it, and you're not going to do it. You're going to fall to your level of training all the time.
That's too real. People don't understand that right there.
And so you don't rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of training.
That's the delusional thing. I'm going to rise up. I'm going to be the best I can be at this time.
I said
for my children in danger.
I said the knife defense workshop, women have the mama bear thing.
Yes.
Where they ain't trained nothing. But if my child gets attacked by a bear, I'll whoop the bear. Bullshit.
Right.
You'll run, leave your baby, and your baby will get mauled by the bear. Because that's what's in your mind. That's how you're trained to run from a bear. Or you'll stand there hollering, and then you get mauled next. There was a dude in France who was knifing children at a playground. The women were just, one woman just steady.
Right. Oh my goodness.
And he's stabbing the children. One man, I don't know what kind of, but this was his level of training. He jumped on the slide and went down the slide. And then looked at the guy, stop it. The one dude who tried to help him, he probably helped people in his regular life, but not against violence, probably, against children in a crisis or something like that. He hits the dude with a backpack.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
And the dude, and the dude runs off. Then he's chasing the dude with the backpack.
Not realizing what he's doing.
He got a deadly weapon because that's his level of training. His level of training. Hey, he's used that backpack before. So here he goes with his backpack. That was the stupidest shit I ever seen, but I understood it.
Right.
That's his level of training. But what happened to the knife wielder is he just shot that the dude did. So he running from the dude.
Right. He committed a crime. He's not trying to stay at the crime scene anyway.
He's right. He stabbed up some children. So I believe there was 4 children was stabbed or more. I think 2 lost their life and 2 adults lost their life. And of course, they edit that out of the film now. If you see it now,
Baba, it looks like some, I don't know, there's a few comments in the chat which I wanted to address. First of all, congratulations, Jadarian. You did the right thing.
Yes.
I wanted to ask
it wasn't a threat of violence. I mean, it was a threat, but not a threat of violence. It was more so like testing your ego, and we don't ever want to give in to that.
Yeah, well. And I wanted to ask Soul Life, I see that you say that you've seen a ton of videos on YouTube with women messing men up when they were acting threatening. How many times has that actually happened to you in your real life? That was, things that you did not see on YouTube.
Yeah, because what I would say to that simply is, I see it says equality, baby. I understand. And what we're saying is that men and women aren't equal physically. And I hope you know that. I hope that's not a debate, that men are generally physically stronger than women.
Who said this?
The comment of Soul Life, they were just saying, I've never threatened a woman. Of course, you shouldn't threaten a woman.
I'm not asking you if you've threatened a woman. I'm asking you how many times you've seen a woman beat a man up completely who was acting threatening.
Yeah, in real life, not on YouTube.
I want to address this real quick. It says, it's going down a transphobic route, I see. There's nothing about no trans person that I was talking about. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, it's basically you're saying that men and women are different, and I think that the
but that ain't got nothing to do with trans. I wasn't even thinking of trans shit. I said a woman's skull was cracked. I wasn't talking about the motherfucker, whatever her name is, the trans that punched the dude, punched the woman. I wasn't thinking about that. The woman boxer who just boxed.
Yeah.
Somebody said about the intersex person. We don't know if she's intersex or not. She didn't say that. She said she's a woman.
Right.
So what are you talking about?
That's a different person.
There's no transphobia here. Number one. Number two, I wasn't talking about trans. I said, if you are a man, don't attack a woman, subdue her. That's what I said. If I see a woman on the street and she's aggressing me, I'm not asking myself, is she trans or is she a biological man? I'm not doing none of that. I'm handling her as a woman. What are you talking about? I can't stand that shit when people make these assumptions.
It's the internet.
It's the internet, and they make assumptions as opposed to asking a question that's ignorant as fuck.
What you're doing, Baba, is you are making definitions based on reality and not on what someone has decided for themselves.
I can't
when you do that now,
right?
You're
people.
When you do that now, you're outside of what it is that they think and believe. But
and I understand that.
Right.
See, I wrote a book once about a woman who was wrote a movie too, but about a woman who gets raped and then she finds out her rapist is an MMA fighter and she trains to fight him, right? So this sister gets online and says, you know, another man using rape as a trope in his books, who knows nothing about rape. And after a while, after I finished talking, she apologized because I do know about being raped by a woman. I do know about being raped. So she didn't know what she was talking about. That we have to stop doing. And I know I'm asking too much on the internet, but before you open your fucking mouth, think first.
He just apologized. They just apologized. Said, okay, I misspoke on the whole issue right there. We appreciate that. That's big. We appreciate that because a lot of people.
No, I wasn't talking about N2B 1986 though.
That was the person who made the comment about the intersex boxer.
Yeah, that wasn't the other one. Yeah, that wasn't the statement you're talking about. But they was just. I'm just speaking to them because even though he wasn't really talking about you, we appreciate even that. You know what I mean? Yes, we appreciate that because people don't want to take any responsibility for anything, and the internet is ridiculous. Every time, you know, I know about it. You say something, people like, so what you're saying is you hate so and so. What? I say I love black people. Oh, so you hate Chinese people? I love black people. Oh, so you hate Mexicans, don't you?
It's ridiculous about it, man. If a person looks like a woman, you just have to assume they are and act accordingly, right?
Exactly, and that's all it is. Now on
the other end, since we're talking trans, if you have a trans man, they appear as a man, I have to act accordingly in that situation. You can't. So
you said if they look like a man, you have to assume they're a man?
Yes.
Right. I would have to agree with that.
Regardless of actual thickness of
you don't say, hey, is this a trans woman? I mean, a trans man? Now, a trans man, since we're talking that, a trans man, that's a woman who now identifies as a man or whatever and got changed or whatever. Well, he does not have the physical strength of an average man. Does not. He does not. He does not have the density of bone and muscle of an average man. But you won't know that, so you don't ask that question. If you have to defend yourself, you defend yourself. You defend yourself against any man. You subdue any woman. Trans woman. Because I ain't got time, like Jadarian said, to ask, what's your gender? What's your identity? Or whatever the fuck. I don't have time to ask that. I just got to move.
Right. Yeah, let's get off of this, man, because this is bullshit. Yes. I just want to respond to Soul Life, because that's we said I just want to not respond, but you made me think of something real quick. We don't want to. What we're not saying is a woman can't defend herself successfully against a man in a physical altercation. That's not what we're saying. If a woman is trained properly, she can defend herself against a man, and I wouldn't necessarily outclass the man, but she can defeat.
No, she can outclass him.
I didn't use those words, but yeah.
When even trained, when Boomy and Ade had sparred during his assistant instructor, test. Remember they had sparred or whatever, and she was outclassing him. She was cupcaking his legs and shit. She was tearing his ass up.
Ade was also secretly in love with her at the time. As a
that time he was. That's true.
If you didn't watch it, that's the only reason I said that.
But even, I mean, shit, my wife.
But while they was training, they wasn't thinking about that. He wasn't thinking about none of that while they was in that circle. He wasn't thinking about that. So I'm not giving that.
My wife got me in a rear naked choke and knocked me out. Knocked me out. Did she outclass me? For that moment in time, she did. And knocked me the fuck out. And then left me and went off training with somebody else. Not left me in marriage. She went off training with somebody else. And I woke myself up. I'm like, damn, dude. You didn't even try to wake me up. You went off and started training with somebody else again. I'm on the floor knocked out. So, you know, you have women about that life. And y'all she used to be about that life.
Nathaniel Leroy
but she used to be about that life.
Nathaniel Leroy Turner, glad to see you in the chat, said the shooting that took place at the Safeway I worked at in Bend, Oregon, 13 people were armed that day with guns, but they froze up and couldn't act. That's the norm. What you just said is the norm. I grew up around every man over 40 had a knife in their pocket. And it never came out in any altercation I ever seen those men in. And it was because at no time in their life, after they bought that knife and tucked it in their pocket, did they ever do anything else besides take it out their pocket and put it back in at the end of the day. Most of them never opened it up, put it in their hand, worked with it,
cut a box,
did nothing with it. And that pistol is the same way. That pistol is the same way. Me and Baba speaks on this a lot in his books and class. Stress and duress. That's why we talk about training properly. You ain't training if you I'm not going to talk about anybody specifically. You ain't training if it ain't under stress and duress. If you can't figure out how to put yourself under stress and duress to simulate the most stressful situations, it's going to be hard, man, for it to come out if you're not putting it under any pressure. Like another thing Baba said, if you haven't pressure tested.
I'll name some arts. Aikido doesn't pressure test nothing. In fact, you run at them, they may just do like this and you flip over. Come on, man. That's bullshit.
You're bullshitting people.
Yeah, it's cheap.
I said they got that chi though. What about the chi?
Yeah, cheap technique, cause they I mean, come on, man. That's bullshit. Or you're running at them, then they get on their knees, and then you just flip over them because you didn't see them get on their knees, so you can't stop yourself. That's ridiculous. I had a friend who did Aikido, and he was like, grab my wrist. So I grabbed his wrist. He said, and see, we flow you around, and then we throw. And so I said, okay, we'll do that. And so he goes like this. I just let him go. He said, see, because you got the training and the chi yourself. I said, man, come on, man. Okay, I'm going to turn my chi off then. Bloop, boop, 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 like that. I grabbed him again. He go, and I let go. He was confused because his students, he goes like this. They follow him along because they've been taught to follow him along. And then he does the technique and they flip over. Doesn't work. But not just them. The screamer. Now there's some good screamer. But a student of mine is a high-level screamador. I said, why do you all drop the stick when the person does the wrist, locks the wrist or whatever? He says, because you're going to have to, because it hurts your wrist. It's a lever on the thing. I said, well, let's try that. Let's try that. It was just me and him in class. And so we're working with the sticks. I boom, hit. He grabs my wrist. Nice, pretty, nice. He does some movement, and I'm supposed to let my stick go. What are you doing? Now it's becoming not technique. Now he's just trying to, What are you doing? One, I hold my stick properly, just like I hold my knife properly, right? Not in the middle of my palm, because then, yeah, it's going to slip. You can knock that out of there. But a knife, like a stick, you hold that in this line here, in this line in your fingers. You hold it there. Lock your fingers, and then you lock your thumb. That's how you hold a knife and a stick, right? But I said, man, this is my life. I'm dependent. This is my lifeline. I'm gonna let it go because you did a tippy tappy thing, and I just let it go. My lifeline? No, you got to work really hard at that. So a lot of times
if we wrist lock you, you're gonna drop your
you're gonna drop your stick because we're gonna really wrist lock you too. But so they do the thing, the tippy tappy, the thing. Also against a knife, you ain't tippy tapping, tippy tap, tippy tap. You ain't doing that shit against a knife. Only in the movies. And I prove that to anybody. You let me have a live knife in my hand, and you tippy tap, tippy. Or I put a wood knife in my hand. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, we just put white out on it, and then see how all the tippy taps all over your bed.
and you'll say, well, you're gonna get stabbed, but you do so and so. You're gonna get stabbed is a defeatist attitude that's weak, and I don't prescribe to that thinking. If I engage somebody and they have a knife, I'm not gonna get stabbed. That's how I'm thinking. If he stabs me, he stabs me. But I'm not going to get stabbed. You hear me? I'm not going to get stabbed.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure this question, Tim B. You saying, is it still possible to get an assault charge if the grapple leads to physical harm? So let's start right there. Assault, if we explain, I don't know if you was here at the beginning.
You get a battery charge.
That's battery, exactly. Assault is the threat.
Right.
Battery is the physical contact. That's why it's assault. Good.
In America, yeah. I don't know about.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure where you at. I'm not sure where you at, bro.
He's talking about in America, assault is a threat or an intimidation. They're different. Intimidation.
Right now, you're asking, will you get a battery charge?
Yes, you could. If it leads to physical harm, you can. Yes. But if you thought he was harming, otherwise you shouldn't have been grabbing him anyway. You thought he was harming you. You thought he was going to harm you.
Specifically about a woman. I think so, since you're talking about subduing women.
Okay. So if a woman is saying, I'm going to fuck you up, you subdue that, or you grapple her, and then you throw her on the ground and she hits her head, or you fall on her arm, she breaks her arm. That's the price of her trying to hurt you. Yes.
That's going to have to be argued.
You can.
Right.
You can get a battery charge. Yes.
Yes. That's the argument. That's a court.
You can get that against a man too.
Right. Yeah.
Like they said, such as if she struggles to get free and pulls a muscle. Yes, you can get a battery charge. Yes. A man, he's coming at me with a knife, and I just boom, stick him. Which I wouldn't just stick him. I would do more than that if he's coming with a knife. But boom, I stick him. Boom. He's knocked out. and then he falls and he lands on his knife. Can I get a battery charge? Possible. He lands on his knife and doesn't die because he ain't alive to tell the story. I'm getting away with that one. But if he said, man, I wasn't even attacking him, I was running at somebody else, he might lie and say that. And he knocked me out. Or he may have been running at somebody else and I was protecting them. That's also self-defense, by the way, if you're protecting somebody else from being harmed. But boom, I hit him and he falls on a knife and it stabs him in his shoulder. In Georgia, where we live, no, they would not give me a battery charge. They wouldn't give me a battery charge. In Chicago, and they're not even a weapon city in Chicago, weapons are legal to carry them like that, but they wouldn't give me a battery charge because I was defending myself with somebody else. In California, might get a battery charge. In Baltimore or DC, might get a battery charge.
So, but yes, Emmanuel Briggs, real quick. Steven Seagal's deadly Aikido does not work, but it works for him because he have a bunch of people that's thinking that he's going to be doing choreography, and then he actually be hitting and punching them and then throwing them around the place. So it worked for him in those situations.
Now, and also Steven Seagal is 6'5". Well, he like 5 pounds now, but he was 6'5" back in the day, 200-something pounds. And when he was in Japan and he was using his Aikido against the Japanese, throwing the Japanese around. Yeah.
He was all under 130 pounds.
Right. And 5'6" at the most, 5'7". Yeah, he was doing it. Yeah,
real quick, Baba, can you explain why this is the proper way in which you should hold your knife?
Will somebody ask me?
Yes.
Okay. So
I can explain, but
I had somebody here with me, but or if I had a pocket shark, it'd be easy to show you. If it's in my palm like this, and you can see like this edge is off center when it's in my palm. It's in the center of my finger. That can easily be pushed down. Number one, I'm not gonna push this down because it'll slice my hand open, and that'll happen to you. You get your hand sliced. That's one. Your aim is off with the knife like that. It's several.
Let's not get away from the first answer, it being more secure, because that's the most important. Like you can't lose that tool when you hold it like that. You can't. You won't know unless you do the difference.
When it's held in this line here.
Okay, they can't see it.
I hold it like this. I don't even need my thumb.
Right.
This is a live knife that I'm doing this with. It can fly and hit me, but it's secure in my fingers, and it's even more secure when I add that thumb. This little nub here, that's on most knives, that should be in the crease of your finger right there. Now, also, so when I attack, I just draw a line with my knuckles. And that means I'm cutting them each time. Okay? So there's several reasons why we do that, but the main thing is to secure your weapon.
Also, I'm not sure. So, like if you say a knife handle can also work the same as a roll of nickels, similar to brass knuckles. So for this knife right here, if you mean, so I could take that as two ways. We call a roll of knuckles a load. You put that in your hand, and now you got a load. So it does make, in a way, I could see that because but I'm not gonna punch with this as a load. But
you can punch harder. I punch with a knife in my hand. Boom.
You can punch harder.
And you do punch harder.
And
now,
but this is what we use for as handle. This is what we want. That's
the pummel. But Now, so you asked about the fist load. You asked about brass knuckles. Brass knuckles is a fist load and it's an actual weapon.
Right.
Brass knuckles normally not brass no more. It's stainless steel or aluminum.
Force
or
multipliers is what the roller nickel is.
And well, they're all force multipliers.
Right. Yeah.
But that load, that fist load, that nickels, that lets you just punch harder. But they're all force multipliers. So a force multiplier means whatever force I have, this increases it. The brass knuckles increase it. The fist
And
load,
when women deal with men, you should definitely have a force multiplier.
yeah,
We all should have them, but
we all should. But women should definitely have a force multiplier. But we all should. If you're an elder man,
what?
you should have a force multiplier. You may not always employ it, or you may, depending on what it is. I told you could take a marker and use a marker as a force multiplier. Okay. Oh, and when I said that equality comment, I was being sarcastic. While women could outclass a man, is not the average, right? Right? It's not, but they can outclass a man. Yes. Let me see. He told this story before. Which one? Wait. So
I think the Screamer. It might have been the Screamer story.
Oh, maybe so. Wait. So Steven Seagal's daily Aikido doesn't work? He laughed. Could you explain why a knife handle can also work the same as a roll? Yeah. The knife, period. Try that on this mat. Try that on this mat. Try what?
I think he was commenting like how he was going along with something you were saying when he said that. But y'all make sure, man, y'all this is tools are important, but just like Bob was saying, it all comes back to the training. Because yes, you should strike first in a lot of situations. But if you don't train yourself to strike first, don't be one of those people caught in shock and awe.
Right. You gotta be bold.
Right. I want to deal with striking fast. So we know strike first. If you feel like you're in danger. Strike fast. How do you strike fast? Right. Well, the number one key to striking fast is strike with my nearest viable target to my nearest viable weapon to his closest target.
Is there using.
So, and viable weapon. If you're not practicing kicking to the head, which it wouldn't be your closest target anyway. My foot, if I'm kicking a 6 foot tall man, my foot has to travel 6 feet. So instead, I kick him to his knee. So it's traveling 3 feet or whatever, 2 feet. But if you don't train that a lot, it's not viable. That for me wouldn't be viable for me to kick you in your leg. I only do kicks in the flow of something. Then a kick may come, but not usually for me. Okay.
Peace to I manifest them.
If like somebody like Shango Dare is a brother of ours, a friend of ours. He is a kicker. Taekwondo, he kicks. Well, him, if I was, teaching him this, then I would say, use your round kick, but your front round kick to his front knee. Whether that's his left or right, his front knee. Me, my most viable target, my most viable weapon. I use my hands. I mean, it's effective to use hand to use palm sandwiches, but I would strike, boom, I would hit him. And the nearest target for me would be his neck. I usually don't strike the face. I usually don't strike the face. I strike the neck, boom. So I would either hammer fist, punch to the throat, something like that. My secondary is a slap, boom, slap to the ear. So that's for me. So you have to find your most, that's number one, find your most viable, closest weapon to his closest target. So if your most viable weapon is a cross punch, and his nearest target, the nearest target is his face, do it. If the nearest target is his sternum, hit it. If the nearest target is his hand, hit it. Okay? That's number one, to speed. I'm talking about hitting fast, right? So boom, hitting, boom. Second, why I can boom hit fast like that is because I trained it. So it always go back to training. So number two is train that tool. Train it, 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 train it. And you're relaxed when you hit. And that's how you hit fast. It's the closest weapon to the closest target. It is trained thousands of times, tens of thousands of times. Train it. Train it every day if you can. If you say, well, mine's my punch too, train it, train it, train it. And you got to punch or whatever you do, kick, whatever, from a relaxed position. Relaxed position. Even when you're under stress, work on relaxing under stress, controlling your breathing under stress.
I try to, after every shower, I change the hot water to cold. I turn all the hot water off of every shower. Before I get out, I turn off all the hot water. And when the cold comes, I keep my training is to keep my breathing regulated. Because you know how the cold water hits you, want like that. Keep my breathing. This little stuff. I'm always trying to get the edge. Like I'm gonna brush my teeth on one foot. I'm gonna take whatever.
I would say that would be good training as long as you don't have a vagal response.
What's that? A what response?
A vasor or a vagal response, meaning your blood pressure goes up or goes down tremendously. That can happen when you do that, and it can lead to a stroke.
The way you don't let that happen is by allowing yourself to breathe deeply, and you don't take yourself right out the cold water. You allow I only let it on my head, run on my head, and I leave it there for a few minutes, so it go past the shock.
Well, I know.
Just so y'all listening out there, just don't throw yourself in cold water, and then jump right out of it. If you put yourself in cold water, allow yourself, and your body now has to process that cold and get through the shock, because it is going to spike your pressure.
And anybody who's taking tests with me, they know what that feels like.
Yeah, if you don't know what cold water on the back of the neck feel like, come on out one day. We love to show you. Real quick before we end this, but just for y'all out there, tell me it don't look like the police looking at Baba with a flashlight like this right here the whole time we've been talking. Like, tell us what it is, sir. What you got here? What kind of podcast is this, sir?
Pretty much that's what's happening. Pretty much that's what's happening. I actually have my daughter's reading light because the little ring light I had, it broke. So I'm using this reading light here.
So
good substitute, Bobby.
So she put that read light on the top of the house and just give y'all daylight. That mug is bright as hell. What was the question?
Noble Brown says type of equipment, clip or no clip, as far as like a pocket clip goes.
As far as a pocket knife?
Or I guess whatever other equipment that
so
you could
pocket knife or if you have a marker, it's going to have a clip on it anyway. So, but a pen, a tactical pen, a knife, yes, it should have a clip on it. It should have
make it more accessible for you.
A clip on the end. Make sure it's not a cheap clip that will wear out. All clips will wear over time, but make sure it will.
I know we got a knife episode. I don't know which one it is, but I'm sure we got a knife episode.
yeah, we got a knife episode.
Check that out, y'all, because that's one of the first tools besides these that you should learn or that you should have is that.
Merlin said bagel response? No. Bagel or bagel response. Yeah, bagel response. I want some
Merlin.
I have bagel response. I'm
having a bagel response right now.
Let me see. Had a friend jump in a cold creek and he almost drowned from not response. Yes, that can happen.
Yes.
Cold water.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did somebody say? Let me see your hands. You couldn't see my hands
from the flashlight, Baba. From the
yeah. It does look like that's what's happening to me, doesn't it?
So
now striking hard. Striking hard comes from the hip.
And
that's easy to say. Striking hard comes from the hip. The hip comes from the feet. It always, all technique goes back to footwork. All technique is driven by your feet.
Footwork.
They were talking about Tyson as the youth, and one of the it was a Freddie Roach. It was a few of them talking like the greatest trainers was talking amongst each other, and they say the one thing people disregard that was the most important about Tyson's style was his footwork.
There's tons of videos.
You didn't see it, you didn't pay it too much attention, but it was excellent. Mm-hmm. It was. Right. How about this? Real quick.
Didn't see last night.
Real quick. How about this? Did y'all realize, y'all boxer connoisseurs out there? How about this, Bubba? Did you realize this? Muhammad Ali, it's a certain punch Muhammad Ali never threw throughout his whole boxing career. It's a shot he never did. I never realized this until this year. This is crazy. He's never thrown a body shot in professional boxing. That's crazy. I did not realize that till I saw all those trainers talking, and they was all talking, trying to surprise each other with info. And when I said, "How about Muhammad Ali never threw a body shot?" And I remember the trainer looked and said, "You saw the calculations." It's like you don't even supposed to be able to box if you don't throw body shots. You don't supposed to be able to. There's no way you're supposed to be able to last as a heavyweight.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to research that one. But
I just seen this, and then I went back and looked at him and what's the name, and I looked at that fight and skimmed through it, and I was like, wait a minute, I ain't looking no more. I just took their word for it.
It also makes you more predictable, which kind of speaks to his skill level.
Yeah, you know he's gonna hit you in your head. That's too much. Somebody out there that can't be possible. Exactly, I manifesto. I just heard.
I'm gonna have to watch several tapes, his older stuff.
We're gonna come back with y'all with that. I don't put my word on what I heard, so I can't say that's my word. That's why I said the trainer said this. But I just thought it was crazy. I only watched one fight after that just to see. Because
I know he wasn't trained to only hit the head. I know that.
Right. And I went straight to the fight, what's the name fight? I thought he threw a body shot at Foreman. I thought
I know he didn't throw body shots at Foreman. I know that.
I thought he did, and he didn't throw nary one. Amazing.
Most people don't throw body shots at Foreman because one, he would block, have the thing, and then you're worried about you're throwing a body shot and you open up here. You're worried about that with Foreman.
That, and he used to clamp. He used to do this.
That too, yeah.
He'd catch you like this with your. If you catch it, he catch you in your chest. He'd do like this, catch your wrist. You know, the boxers be tender because they ain't punching correct.
Right.
I ain't mean tender like. Don't take that the wrong way, y'all. Right? Tender. Y'all do get emotional. Really. I'm sorry. Never mind.
Now, to punch hard, so you use your feet. We dealt with that before, where you turn. If I'm throwing, say, a right punch, then I turn my right heel to throw that punch. So I drive it with my hip. Right. If I did karate or something like that has a flat foot, then I may just use my hip. So you throw your hip into the punch. You guide the punch with your hip. Okay.
And look, y'all.
Left, same thing on the left. If I'm throwing a hook, a straight, overhand, whatever it is, uppercut is driven by my hip.
And we don't say that the punch that we throw is the hardest punch because it's our punch, the African punch. But just use a little logic. If your punches are if the strength of your punch is governed by your footwork, your hips, who use their hips the best? It's Africans, man. Come on. You see the dancing?
Yeah. I want
Tyson
to know
bites his glove.
Was biting his gloves.
It's a habit. So
fixation, yeah.
So what it was is he used to remember those are 14-ounce gloves. It's about that much thicker or taller than a 10-ounce glove. So Tyson's style was this right here back in the days, right? So he would bite his glove and you wouldn't see it when he was younger because he kept his hands here anyway. But because he had a 14-ounce glove, they right here, and now you see him gnawing on it, and everybody thought it was an issue. I had to tell my homeboy, I was like, bro, he always bit his glove. He's like, nah, man, something wrong. He on cocaine or something. No, his gloves used to be right here, and he would bite, and you just never saw it. Bigger gloves, you see the bite. That's all that is.
Ali was usually taller than his opponent, yes. Would throwing body punches have given up an advantage? No, it wouldn't have given up an advantage if you know how to throw the body punches. But yes, he was taller, and that's why he would punch going in reverse and shit like that. Now that's also why he hit to the head a lot too. He would punch while moving backwards. And
it's ill if you think about it, Baba. You know he's going to hit. You know a boxer is going to aim for your body. That's boxing. So I'm be ready to block down here. Sooner or later, I know it's coming here, and it never comes there. That's a good strategy almost as well. I gotta research that, but that's wild.
Yeah,
that's wild. That is wild.
Hard. But I would say, best boxers for me. This is my opinion. In history, is Ali is second for me. The first is Joe Gans. If you don't know about Joe Gans, you need to study. I wrote it right. I wrote an article on Joe Gans years ago. Second would be Ali. Third for me would probably be Tyson.
Yeah, from what I know of Gans, I would have to put him ahead of everybody. But if I had to go on what I've seen, because all I did was read about Gans, I don't really know about him. So he'd be one. I'd have to put Sugar Ray Robinson ahead of Mike Tyson.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
No, Sugar Ray Robinson.
Oh, okay.
Sugar Ray Robinson, because he fought more than any boxer has ever fought. Him and Joe Johnson, I think. Johnson.
Yeah.
So many fights at that time when you had
that's why I was struggling to put. I actually was going to put Jack Johnson third and Tyson fourth, but
modern day, I give it to it's Tyson, Ali, and Roy for me. Modern times, Tyson, Ali.
Where was great,
but he wasn't a great boxer. He was a great athlete. He was a great boxer, but it was because of his athletic ability. He wasn't the boxing science wasn't. He didn't traditional box. He cheated because he had all these skills. But anyway, so we make sure we go back over what we were saying. We know why we strike first, and somebody's aggressing us, assaulting us. You know what the threat is.
Some boxers had knockout body shots. Yes.
Of course, any boxer had it. If you
also, don't disregard Joe Frazier either. Joe Frazier was Mike Tyson before there was Mike Tyson. Joe Frazier was incredible.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness.
Sugar Ray
I don't give him enough credit because Ali took his shine.
Sugar Ray peppered that head if opponent led with head like that woman champion. Which woman champion? Clarissa Shield?
Man, Clarissa Steele's starting to rub me the wrong way, man. She's doing too much, man.
What you mean?
I'm doing
chasing like it's like she's chasing clout now. When the two women fought, you know they asked her about the two women that fought last night, and she was like, I beat both of them down. I want to fight either one of them, blah blah blah. And they asked the women about it. It's like y'all know she's like 40 pounds heavier than us. Like she's great. You know what I'm saying? She's great too. Like we can all be great. Like she's challenging men to fight. Like just be great. It don't have to be the greatest. It don't have to be the greatest.
I don't know about challenging men, but I mean, men fighters do that, don't they?
What?
Brag and
yeah. No, but I was gonna say that. So
but you don't see you don't see bigger fighters usually saying something to smaller fighters. You see smaller fighters saying something to bigger fighters. Like I'll go up a weight class and fight you. You usually don't see somebody 40 pounds heavy saying, "I'll whip y'all ass." Yeah, you should.
But she would go down to fight them.
So well, I mean, if she did that, talk that noise then.
I'm with her on that. Like Nikki said, men do it all the time. In fact, in MMA, John Jones did it. John Jones said, he'll go down to middleweight, take that division. He'll go up to heavyweight, take that division.
He taught jump up. He went down and won, but he taught jump up. He's like, I think you talking? I'll be up there. Went up there and did it. You know what I mean?
And he talked going down too, because he was gonna fight Stylebender at middleweight.
I thought that was just talk, but I agree. I hear what y'all saying though. If it's hype, I agree. I just felt kind of funny because she do look
it's hype and they're selling tickets.
I agree.
Get these people like entertainers.
Absolutely.
I just don't want her to become the enemy.
They're not warriors. They're entertainers.
Right. I don't want her to be the villain.
If she's a villain, she's in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? For some people, especially entertainers, it doesn't matter to them as long as they relevant.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't want her. That's why I feel like chasing clout. Everything ain't about you. It's a great fight happening right now. What do you think about it? I think I'll beat both of them. I think I'll whip. Okay, goddamn, you bad as shit. We get it.
That's her
brand. Is there a movie?
Oh man, yeah, she has a movie coming out. That's gonna be good. Yeah. Because I love her. That's what I'm saying. So
an action movie
be great. I love her story. I love her grit.
A movie about her or an action movie?
No, like her story.
Her story coming out.
Yeah.
They showed the preview. It was good. It was good. It looked really good. So that's something to look out for, y'all.
You said you playing her in the movie, Nikki?
Moi?
Yeah.
Isn't she younger than me?
I thought he said me. That's why I laughed. That's why I say,
look, I'm imitating her in life.
That's what's up.
But I mean, shit. Amanda Nunes the same thing. Also, I'll say this:
Yeah, because that's what
Women
the
have
money
to
is.
go. Women have to go overboard with that because they're less respected
Oh yeah.
True.
as
Yeah,
fighters. So Amanda Nunes in MMA, shit, the greatest MMA, a woman, at least woman fighter,
Yeah.
one of the greatest. Period. She does that. I beat her ass, blah blah blah. The woman may be, 50 pounds lighter than her.
Yeah.
Or 60 pounds heavier. She don't care.
But also like we say too, that's the mentality of fighters versus warriors. They want to fight. I never want to fight. I don't ever want to fight. They like fighting, licking blood off their lip and shit. I don't want to do that.
That's how their money comes.
I'll act like I do if we get into it. You know what I'm saying? If I got to, I'll act like it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Now, usually when they do that in boxing and MMA, they're hurt. Mike Tyson hit Jake Paul and he get your ass out of here. You were hurt.
Right. That little jab hurt your ass. You felt that, and you were scared after
Mike
that.
Tyson knows that. He's experienced. So he knows that, okay, I got him with that. In MMA, when you see, boom, person get rocked, then they, all that kind of shit, he's hurt. That's when you take him. Mm-hmm. That's when you take him. Out here in the street, too, if somebody grins, we fighting. Oh, hit him with an elbow. That was a good one. I know I got his ass. Mm-hmm. And that's when I'm going to really put it on him then. I'm about to put it on him anyway if I'm on the street because I'm trying to get that shit done. But I'm going to really fuck him up now.
But what if you hit him with that and he don't do like that, but he got the 3-piece suit on and he just keeps smiling?
Well, then he's a nut. And, I'm still going to bop, and then run.
Exactly.
Phantoms from Prom.
Yeah. I had a person. Well, he was what you call them, guardian angels. The guardian angels tried to get a foothold in Chicago. Give respect.
Yeah, I think you talked about this too.
And somebody had invited me to go see them. They're all martial artists. Somebody invited me to go see them, and maybe you can spar with them. And I said, okay, I doubt it, and this one dude who they considered their toughest dude, he sparring with people. He would clap, then kick, clap, kick. That was his tail. He clapped, then he would go off, kick him. Right, had a powerful, fast kick. Well, he said, hey, I heard about you. Would you like to spar? I was just sitting down watching him. Well, standing up watching him. It was around a tree. I said, okay. People clapping, yeah. People don't know me. Like, he going to get wrecked by this dude. We're standing up there to fight. He claps. And when he clapped, I went at his ass. Boom, grabbed him, threw him into a tree. Well, not into a tree, up, against a tree. Whoa. He's like, oh. He comes again. I crack him, boom, with a knee. What the fuck? He come again. He kicks. I'm out the way, getting off the X towards him. And when he turns around and looks, boom, 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 crack him, right? He smiled. Yeah, I like that. And I knew I had hurt him then. And that's when I fucked him up. I fucked him up then because now he's smiling and I just fucked him up. After that, they were trying to, get me, you need to join the Guardian Angels, you need to do. I said, man, I'm against the police. I ain't with the police. We're not the police, but we do work with them. I said, yeah, see. I said, nah. I think I was 19, maybe, 20, maybe. And I said, this is Chicago. This ain't New York. I would advise y'all not to go down in the trains here. He said, we do it in New York. You know, New York is harder than Chicago. I said, think again.
Mm-hmm.
Think again. That is not true. Think again.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago has been known as a violent city since the 20s. And its reputation is well earned. Don't, you know, I would advise y'all to, you know, go ahead and go back to New York, you know, go up to Gary, Indiana or something. But here, they found out. They fucked around and they got the, like I said, you know, you get the other, you get the find out part because you know, you did the first part. The second part is imminent. They fucked around and they found out. And several of them, a couple got killed, several of them got hurt, and they packed up and got the fuck out of Chicago. What works in New York will not work in Chicago. For my New Yorkers out there who've never been here, well, been to Chicago, I'm telling you, and most people know, New York got some hard shit now, but not compared to Chicago. It really doesn't. I don't live in Chicago no more for that reason. I don't want my children growing up in that environment. We visit all the time. And that's good. Business is cool. We don't go off the beaten path. I went off the beaten path with my sister, with my wife. She asked me, I want to see where you grew up. I said, you don't want to see where I grew up. Yeah, I want to see where you grew up. She kept on insisting. I said, well, we're going to leave the children at my mama's house. Okay. My mother lives on the south side now, right? I said, okay, let's go ahead and drive over. You know, I grew up in the South Lawndale area on the west side. As we're driving, she said, oh, this is different here. Yeah, it's different. She said, oh, okay. Yeah, it's different here. She reaching for the locks on the door, straight up. We drive down 16th Street. She's like, oh my God. Yeah, it's different. Yeah. The only thing that ruined the whole experience that I was going to give her is when we drove up to where I lived. Our apartment building is apartments in Chicago, like really like brownstones in New York. It's 3 flat, 2 flat, whatever, right? That house had been totally torn down and changed. I live in a granite house, a granite apartment. Okay. It was terrible. Terrible. They tore that down. They built this shit with all glass and shit. It looked nice. I said, now this is fucked up. I didn't grow up in this. And y'all are going to believe me. She like,
yeah, right, Baba.
Right. She's like, it's a rough neighborhood, but look how you grew up. I said, I did not grow up in this shit right here. Damn. But the other part, getting to that area was rough. And I was shocked to see that. I'm like, damn, my block has been gentrified.
It's like that here in Atlanta. You go through a kind of a rough area where you're looking around, and then a few minutes later you're in, you know, $1 million homes. Like it's
Simpson Road is like that,
right? Mm-hmm. Even in Midtown, you know, there's a street that you go down Ponce, and if you go to the left, you're going Boulevard.
I live on
the right. It's like one of the Monroe. It's like one of the nicest areas in Midtown.
I lived in the last apartment I ever lived in. No, not the last apartment, but I lived right off of Boulevard. Then we moved to Atlanta Overlook, which Atlanta Overlook, now you look and say, oh, this is nice because overlooks Atlanta, right? Oh man, you lived in these apartments, these condos? No, motherfucker. I lived in them when they were apartments, and I'm walking, and a Mexican dude, Mexicans and black live in this complex. A Mexican dude says, hey man, don't take your child down here. It's a dude with his pit bulls out, and they've been kind of getting aggressive with children. So I went around the other way. Found out that day his pit bulls had eaten the face off of a child. That's where I grew up. That's where I live, Atlanta Overlook. I walk out the door getting ready to walk to Blockbuster. Blockbuster is a video store for those who are too young to remember it. You would rent videos there. I walk out the door to go to Blockbuster. A dude's running towards me. So I'm getting ready. Another dude comes up the breezeway and shoots him 3 times. Bow, bow, bow. He falls dead right in front of me. I got Ade in the stroller. Ade's 21, about to be 22 this month now, so let you know how long ago that was. And I walked right back inside. He got done up. I went inside. Now that going inside after you see somebody murdered in front of you, that's Chicago though.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, Chicago is very rough, and Atlanta Overlook was a very dangerous place to live at in the 90s.
It's the closest to Chicago I've lived down here.
You didn't, Techwood was gone before you got here.
Yeah, well, I know several people from Techwood. My wife lived in Techwood before they moved to Grady. There's nothing. There's nothing compared to what I've seen. Now I lived in Little Five Points area for 2.5 years. Little Five Points is nice.
Yeah, I mean, it used to not be as nice as it is now, but I don't think I don't know that as a rough area. But I moved here 25 years ago now. It was nice then. It was artsy type of area. Right. Yeah.
I won't say nice like Buckhead, but
it's nice now.
Yeah, now it's very nice. Yeah.
Before we cut out,
I've been growing up in a glass house. Yeah, I didn't grow up in that glass house. You know.
Before we cut out, I didn't know.
Real quick, good old Blockbuster. I think I still owe them some late fees, and I didn't rewind. Yeah, me either. I still got some Blockbuster videos.
That's what I was about to say. I never took them back.
They put it on your credit.
Yeah.
I was just gonna go over the news. Sorry, that's hilarious. Real quick, some news that I forget. That I hate that when I laugh right before I go over some news that's really sad. Now I gotta try to find something else or something. But real quick, news wise, first is that I don't know if y'all seen that guy Brandon Durham from Las Vegas that called 911. The video came out where the police came and basically just executed him. Somebody was breaking into his house. He called the police because he thought somebody was breaking in. The police came. He was naked when he opened the door. They still shot him. So that only reason I say these type of stories is because
why did they shoot him?
I mean, I don't have a reason.
The excuse they use, because I mean they police.
Let me just see what it says.
What the excuse they use?
The excuse was that they mistaked him for the burglar. And the question was, how do you shoot a naked guy first? He's obviously the homeowner versus the guy that's completely clothed and hooded.
And
they got away.
That's why I say in all of my books, all of my nonfiction books, call the police if you want to. I prefer calling a comrade.
Yeah, you got that's why I tell these stories, man. You really have to be careful being black and trying to, use the 911 system. Just be very careful. Also,
and talk to your family about that too.
this is 140 years ago to this day, the Berlin Conference. And if you
split up Africa,
right, that's when they if you don't know what the Berlin Conference is, they basically European nations established that it's illegal claims that all Africa be occupied by whomever that could take it. That was just the law. If you could take it, it's yours.
And it
So,
was funny, only 5, I believe, individuals in their room had ever been to Africa. The other ones had never been, but they decided on splitting it up, and we're gonna take this part, and y'all gonna take this part.
Thus, the murdering began. So, research that if you don't know it.
Continue.
The murdering kicked into high gear because they had been murdering us in Africa.
Right. So, if you don't know what the Berlin Conference is, or you're not totally versed in, you should be. That's the part of our history. Know your story and pass it on. That's something that should be, as like me and Bob would talk about, like they as we talked about, they're getting rid of books. And the information online can be altered. That's the Mandela effect. And that's why books are so important. And also why passing on information, because our living libraries are dying every day. So absolutely, it's important to connect with those living libraries, meaning your elders, to get those stories and to pass those stories on. And if you got a story, don't let that story die with you.
There are some people
also the view that people have of oral history. Like we got to change that.
There are some people alive now who have never smelled a book. They don't know what a book smells like.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so the hierarchy of knowledge transference, is first physical, then verbal, then books, and now digital. When I say verbal, I mean audio too. It could be bird sound, whatever. But now it's digital. That's how knowledge was transferred. Digital wasn't even a part of it. But now it's digital first. Sometimes digital only.
Right.
Oh man.
I try to emphasize to my son, and he's still, if I don't tell him specifically, when he does his reading, I have him define the words, and he has several dictionaries, and he always goes on, online to look up, and I'm like, no, go get a book and open it up and find the definition of the word. You have got to default to books, but it's just, the world now, everyone just jumps online. And the thing about it is Google doesn't have everything. It's just that you've grown up with it. So you have, and even, those of us who are a bit older, Google is very convenient. You have the phone in your pocket, but it does not have everything. And the danger is that a lot of times Google knows it doesn't have everything. The people behind it, they know it doesn't have everything, but they want it to be perceived as having everything. So they might make some things up because they want people to think this is the thing that, they call it the greatest knowledge base that ever exists. You hear people describe it all different kinds of ways. You better figure out how to come up with some information yourself.
So people still disappear in the country with no more than an empty car to find on the side of the road, just like that. Yes. So now, when I was talking about Chicago, there are dangerous people and places in every state in America.
Yeah, boom.
Don't confuse what I'm saying now. So yes, the danger is that original archive sources can be tampered with unknowingly. Yeah, they can. So Now I have a couple of books in archives at Emory University archive, at Georgia Tech archive. I have some books in there, right? Shit, my shit could be altered right now. You know, I don't know what they're doing with my stuff once I give it to them. You know,
but that's still, you can combat that by having the physical paper, the physical.
That's why you have to have it. I have all my books, you know, in paper.
Right, exactly. That's why books are so important, because yes, they can change at the source, but you can always be like, just like they did with books in the past. I'm not naming any books besides Bible books, but it's been books in the past that have come out with different versions later on, and people, because they had the original versions, they would say, hey, that's not the original version. It's stuff in there that shouldn't be in there, stuff in there that's not in there, and that's why we have to keep this. I don't know how we got into all this, but hey,
so,
read more books.
You were talking about the news. There needs to be a liberal counter version of PragerU and the Daily Wire or something, because Google is not enough. Yeah, so we need our own too, that is Black or indigenous owned or something like that, that we can go to.
Right.
Number one, that's known, and that we can go to. It can still be tampered with, but you know, we can get sources outside of what Google has.
Right.
It used to be DuckDuckGo used to be that. DuckDuckGo used to, so you can go on there. You couldn't be supposedly you couldn't be found, and you know, they weren't counting your keystrokes or looking at what's
They still ain't. It's still like that. They just report it to the top people now.
Yeah, so
but you know, I mean, they hide the stuff. They just, you know, they can just sell it now.
Right. So
WhatsApp too. WhatsApp the same way.
Yeah. WhatsApp was, you know, and it's still the same way, but they will sell your information. Yeah,
they got the right. They can sell it if they need to.
Yeah, I'm. You know, you hear about the black web and all of that. I'm sure there is, but you know, I don't have access to that kind of information. And if I did, I wouldn't say it on here. But that's unfortunate, because you know, you couldn't get that information, because people who know about the black web, they're not going to share that information publicly. So, you know, used to be an Afropedia archived by a brilliant brother named Kofi. Y'all remember Afropedia?
Mm-hmm.
Our own digital griot. What living memories do we share here as a group? We share many memories here. Many stories about what happened here on this. But once again, it's shared on this platform, which is not our platform.
Right. Can be taken in
the Black Liberation Media, but it's through YouTube and Facebook. These aren't our platforms.
Who's to say 5 years from now, the technology be able to make us say totally different shit. They may have us saying anything.
Shit, right now they may, you know, have our voice on there, and it'll be, you know, Omi Nikki talking about she gonna work the streets, and you know, I'm talking about, yeah, you should do that. You know, you should do that. I used to work the streets, and you know, all kinds of shit could be.
Back when I was robbing and killing, I think that's what you was doing back then. About it, we be talking all type of crazy stuff.
I'm like, well, you know, yeah, I used to, you know, kill for a living. You talking about killing on Nikki or hoeing? I mean, I'm talking about hoeing. Oh, okay. Well,
we
talking about them altering what we said.
Why they got to alter mine to that?
Well, I mean, they can alter mine to that. Yeah. But I wouldn't make no money.
They altered him. Equal horn. Bob was horn.
Right. Quality, baby.
All right, y'all. We ran a little over. It's been a minute since we've been together.
Right.
We did a little extra. Okay. We hope y'all appreciate it. We appreciate y'all for sticking in with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, y'all. You know, this has been I don't know, I'd say what happened with Tyson yesterday fits perfectly with today's topic.
It all moved together.
So out there on the street, make sure you strike fast, strike first, and strike hard. Stay safe out there.
Come on.
Stay black or whatever it is that you may be. Peace.
Peace.
You know, find out the laws too on all this. You know, even before you break them.
Yeah. The
At
laws.
least know you break them.
And if the law of your state says something different, you know, let us know. If it says you just absolutely can't attack nobody first, let us know. You know.
Right. Yeah, and be conscious of that. At least you know, hey, I'm breaking the law right now when I protect myself. When I have to save myself, this may be against the law, but I need to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I need to protect myself. Because bottom line is protect yourself. No matter what your states or countries' laws are, bottom line, protect yourself. One of my students from the UK, who I won't name, and not Akin Bobala either. Y'all have seen him. 5 men came in his house with knives. You know, they don't often have guns there. He went to work. He killed at least one, stabbed 3. Stabbed one of them with his knife. Yay for the training. You know?
Like the ref say, protect yourself at all times.
And right. And he was arrested because he's a big black man. They let him out on bail, though. He got the fuck out of the country. He got out of the country. You have to, he was, you know, hey, I know I'm pleading self-defense, but I know they can deny it.
Right.
But I got to do what I got to do to protect my 2 children, my wife, and myself. For me, shit, it's not an option, especially somebody come in my house. See, we're in Georgia. We can just smoke a motherfucker come in our house. But in Chicago, you can't. You can kill somebody come in your house, but if you shoot somebody, shit, you better catch him before he fall out the door. Because if he falls outside and dies, you're in trouble. But here
I will say I appreciate the new law that they're talking about, where if you got concealed carry, it goes with you now, carries over wherever state you go to.
Yeah, now that's so they're getting lax on guns. I agree with most of the things with guns because guns is a great equalizer. Knives are a great equalizer. I mean, you know, my students and y'all know I'm for carrying tools, responsibly carrying tools. If you have shotguns, rifles, automatic rifles, I'm with it. Arm yourself, protect yourself and your family. I'm not with, you know, just walking the streets with those kind of guns. We know people who have shot up schools and all kinds of shit with semi-automatic rifles. But they could do the same with pistols. They could shit, they can kill a lot of folks with a knife. They can kill a lot of people with a chain in their hand. Some people could kill a lot of folks with their hands. So, you know, I'm for and for me, if my child is at college and there's an active shooter, she knows how to protect herself. She knows call me too while it's going on. In fact, my daughter Yami did that at her when she was in public high school. She did that, and I guided her, told her to go to a room, told the teacher, put me on speakerphone, told the teacher what they have to do to barricade the door. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, now you all hide low or high in that room. She went to her homeroom, and that teacher wouldn't let her in the room. So she ran to another room, and they let her in. And I told them what to do. Well, if there was a person on the property, not necessarily police, but somebody in charge of security for the children, and they have a weapon, they might have been able to stop that shooter. And instead, the shooter ran out the door and was never caught. Okay. Another person with a firearm could have stopped that shooter before he shot a child, before he shot a teacher. See, I wasn't worried about mine, but I was worried about the rest of them. Mine's going to be okay as long as they contact me and I can help guide them through, because under stress and duress, you ain't going to remember everything that I taught you. But my daughter and my son and my daughters, they know to call me in that situation. They know to do that. They're trained to do that. And I can guide them to where they need to go, or I can get them myself.
Yeah, boom.
And if I went there, I would full breach that school with my firearms, and I would hopefully neutralize the threat, whatever that means. Hopefully. But what I am going to do for sure is get my child to safety. Other children, if possible, but definitely my child. But hopefully, like I said, I'll neutralize the threat so everybody is safe. But that means I have to have a firearm. I have to have firearms. I have to. Karate kicking somebody ain't enough. I told an instructor that in Chicago. I said, karate, you ain't gonna do no flying kick against no rifle. You ain't gonna do it. You ain't gonna kick it out of his hand. You ain't gonna kick no knife out of a man's hand, a woman's hand. You're not gonna do it. Not going to do it. But you can use a knife against a knife. You can shoot against a knife or shoot against a shooter. So that's all. How a teacher not going to let you into your own homeroom? Yeah, because the teacher was scared. The teacher was responsible for every student in that homeroom. Yeah, in the homeroom, but not every student outside the homeroom. So my daughter had gone to the bathroom. She's hearing the shots. Oh my God. They're moving towards her. She's moving away. So, you know, the teacher didn't let her in the homeroom. The teacher didn't get fired or nothing either, because they're responsible for who's in the room. That's fucked up though, because you go to the bathroom, now you trying to go back into your homeroom, can't get in. So, all right, y'all. Be safe out here. That Apache knife fighting technique looks very effective. I don't know nothing about Apache knife fighting. I looked that up though. Be safe and take it easy out here. It's a dangerous environment out here during this time. So we're going to be doing workshops and stuff to keep people safe, and
we'll have in detail techniques coming up shortly as well. They may not be on our normal program, but we will announce where we will be putting those at as well.
Yeah, I think the next thing we're going to do is a danger in the workplace. That could be an active shooter. That could be a person with a knife. That can be whatever, but danger in the workplace. Because we haven't dealt with that yet.
Peace, everybody in the chat. We appreciate all the new people that we've never seen before. Yeah, we appreciate you for commenting. I know you've probably been watching, but we appreciate you for actually jumping on the chat. So thank y'all for participating, and we definitely be back.
All right, family.
Patreon workout. You got it. You already know what it is, Dayon. You already know.
Now I can't turn this off from this computer, so
I'll host until you. I'm gonna make it host till you leave. Peace, Baba.
Peace, y'all. I'm going upstairs to turn off the live. So, all right, that's why I was still talking, because I realized that. All right, y'all.
Yes.
All right, peace, Baba.
Peace.
That school shooting that he was talking about, that was on the news. I'm pretty sure of, but it was here in Atlanta, and I think that it wasn't like big news, believe it or not. I think it might have stayed local. So that is true. So man, before we go, y'all just remember, go over this, pass this on, train. If you're just training by yourself, do something, or you're not going to do anything.
And speaking of knowledge base, this show is archived. Anything that you want to learn, or virtual anything that you need to learn, we've done a show on it probably. So go back, look through the shows, look through these archives.
Nah, no more interrogation life, Bob. We're gonna let them off the hook. Yeah. As time goes, we're gonna give y'all some little more insight on our jokes that we be doing, man. We got some funny stuff, man. Y'all only knew. I guess you could tell by the way, we always clown anyway. But anyway, peace. I don't want to be in the middle of something before we cut.
I love y'all.
I thought you were about to say Lafayette.
Lafayette. No, that's the greeting, isn't
it? Yeah, greeting in the Lafayette. That's what I thought you was about to say. Peace.
Peace.
What is that? Right.